Why is everything dragged to court nowadays? Everything. It's like we don't have a government. And the court doesn't say no. The court welcomes it. It's become a symptom, it's become a disease. Every single legislative business in this country, everything, even if the government says that you should handle the stray dog problem, even that goes to the court. The courts have a view on everything. Why is this happening? I want to play a small clip of yours on this subject so that we can place it in context. Please.
If you encourage judges more and more to get into areas which you don't want to decide because they are politically a hot potato, then the next time the judge will do it voluntarily, then don't complain that there's overreach by the court. The whole structure has gone awry. And this needs to be fixed. If you encourage judges more and more to get into areas which you don't want to decide because they are politically a hot potato, then the next time the judge will do it voluntarily, then don't complain that there's overreach by the court. The whole structure has gone awry.
Okay, thank you.
Since you are being totally irresponsible today, let me tell you what I had in mind.
Yes.
I don't know how many people remember this. When the big Kar Seva happened, when the Ayodhya movement happened, 1992. And parallel, the hearing was going on in the Supreme Court on a day-to-day basis, Justice Venkatachalaya and Justice G.N. Ray. And the then Attorney General, Milan Banerjee, he went and told Chief Justice, Justice Venkatachalaya, as he then was, Justice Venkatachalaya said, what arrangements have you as a government made to protect the structure? And he says, my lord, the forces, paramilitary forces, police, everybody is standing there waiting for your order. And Venkatachalaya looked at him and said, forces are ordered by their generals, not by judges. Why? Because they did not want the government to take a position in the matter. They wanted the Supreme Court to say open fire. They didn't want to do it themselves. Now, you do it once to a judge. You do it twice to a judge. In every controversial case, you say, let the court decide. So we don't have to take a position. The judges then get heady.
No, but your argument in that clip was that the politicians invite the judiciary into the contentious position. They shouldn't complain over overreach later. You know, day before yesterday, there was a Corps Commanders Conference. About 1 week back, last weekend, we had an event called Forces First with the Chief of Army Staff.
Yeah, I saw
a wonderful General Guy, all the top generals were there. I sometimes think a day will come when the Supreme Court will tell the Corps Commanders where to put the artillery, where to put the infantry, where to move the guns, how to fly the jets.
I can't laugh on you because this sounds like wishful thinking to me. It just might happen.
I worry that will also happen. There's nothing. It's happening. Sir, you yourself argued the Eknath Shinde case. By the way, I called you that day. Remember, sir, I said you were brilliant. You were absolutely brilliant for Eknath Shinde in the Supreme Court. When a speaker decides to do something in the assembly, the Supreme Court should not be knocked. And you were very clear. You told the Supreme Court it's none of your business. I mean, exactly like
absolutely.
that. But the thing is,
let me tell you, it was as simple as this. There was one round of defections. The whole defection law needs a relook because speakers have proved without exception that they can't be trusted in taking decisions fairly. The one round of defections, second round of defections, ultimately, Uddhav Thackeray resigned. When Uddhav Thackeray resigned, the governor said, I have to form a government. So he formed a government. Repeatedly, Supreme Court says, majorities of government are not proved in the office of the governor, they are proved on the floor of the House. So he called a session of the Assembly for Shinde to establish his majority. And the Supreme Court was taking umbrage at that. So I only argued one thing. I said, why are you hearing a case? Repeatedly, we have been told as young lawyers onwards, the court doesn't decide infructuous cases. Can you set aside Uddhav Thackeray's resignation? No. So Uddhav's gone. Can you set aside Shinde's being sworn in and proving his majority? No. Why are you hearing this case and wasting time? And
why were they
you could be doing other important work?
Why were they hearing the case?
And then ultimately what comes out? is a judgment saying the governor should not have called a floor meeting. So you have 5 judgments which says he must call a floor meeting. You have 1 judgment which says he must not call a floor meeting.
But why hear the case? Why get the headlines? When the government decides to purchase 4.5 generation modern combat fighter jets like Rafale, why is the Supreme Court to be read in on the acquisition?
You just answered your question.
No, I'm asking
Why
so
get
why?
the headlines?
Huh?
Why get the headlines?
Isn't that the government's job?
Of course, it's the government's job. But why should the government only get headlines?
It's a government.